That morning cup of coffee, it's a ritual, right? For so many of us, it's absolutely non-negotiable. But what if I told you that simple cup is actually a powerful chemical delivery system that most of us are seriously underusing? Let's dive in and see how we can turn that daily habit into an incredible tool for our long-term health.
So let's just ask the big question right up front. Is your coffee really working hard enough for you? We tend to think of it as just a simple stimulant, a way to get going in the morning, but we need to evolve that thinking, especially as we get older. The real opportunity here isn't just about waking up. It's about using coffee as a therapeutic tool to address the specific changes our bodies go through with age.
So how do we do that? Well, the secret sauce is a concept called the entourage effect. It's a fancy term for something pretty simple: teamwork. The idea is that when you combine specific natural compounds with the good stuff already in your coffee, you create this metabolic impact that's way, way bigger than what any single ingredient could do on its own. It's all about synergy. Okay, let's get into our very first upgrade. And this one, it targets one of the biggest challenges of aging, our vascular system. We're talking about keeping blood flowing efficiently everywhere it needs to go, especially to the brain. And our tool for the job is raw cacao. Now this is super, super important. I am not talking about that sugary hot cocoa mix you find in the baking aisle. No way. We're talking about raw, unprocessed cacao. You see, the usual heat treating or Dutch processing that creates regular cocoa powder, it actually destroys the very antioxidants and flavonoids we need to get that medical benefit. So the distinction is critical. So what's raw cacao actually doing in there? Well, for starters, it boosts nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the signal that tells your blood vessels to just relax and open up, which improves circulation everywhere. It also stimulates something called BDNF, which is basically like fertilizer for your brain cells. And get this, the theobromine in cacao works with the caffeine to give you a much smoother, sustained energy boost, without the jitters or that awful afternoon crash. All right, upgrade number 2. This one tackles another hallmark of aging, that slow, gradual decline in our metabolic control, which can often lead to insulin resistance. The hero here? A very specific kind of cinnamon. And listen, this is a really big deal for your safety, so pay close attention. The common cinnamon you probably have in your spice rack right now, that's cassia cinnamon, and it's high in a compound called coumarin, which can actually be toxic to your liver in higher doses. What you need to look for is Ceylon cinnamon, also known as true cinnamon. It's an essential switch to make. Ceylon cinnamon is pretty amazing. Its compounds literally mimic insulin at the cellular level, which helps your cells unlock and pull in glucose from your blood more effectively. It also slows down how quickly food leaves your stomach, which helps prevent those big blood sugar spikes after you eat. On top of all that, it teams up with coffee to create a really potent anti-inflammatory effect. So how do you actually use this for the best results? It's way easier than you think. You're going to want to add about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon right into your coffee grounds before you brew. The hot water is perfect for pulling out all those beneficial fat-soluble oils, and it cleverly leaves the gritty texture behind in the filter. You just get a smooth, metabolically supercharged cup. All right, let's talk about the hardware, your brain's hardware. We now know that the brain can repair itself all throughout life. It's called neuroplasticity. But to do that, it needs 2 things: the right building blocks and enough energy. And that brings us to an incredible power couple: lion's mane mushroom and creatine. First up, lion's mane. This is a crazy-looking mushroom, but inside it has these unique compounds that can do something really special. They can cross the blood-brain barrier. And once they're inside your brain, they stimulate something called nerve growth factor, or NGF. Just think of NGF as the instruction manual that tells your brain cells to repair themselves and build new connections. It's a slow and steady process, but it's powerful. But, and this is a big but, for any of this to work, you have to use what's called a dual extract powder. All that means is it was processed with both hot water and alcohol. Without that 2-step process, your body just can't get past the mushroom's tough cell walls to access all the good stuff inside. It just won't work. Okay, on to our second brain booster. And for this one, we've got to bust a major myth. I mean, this quote really nails it. The marketing of creatine as just a supplement for bodybuilders has done a huge disservice, especially to the very people who might benefit from it the most. So here's the truth about creatine. It's not just for muscles. Its real job is all about cellular energy. It's fundamental. Its main role is to rapidly recycle energy, or ATP, in any cells that have a high energy demand. And you know what has a high energy demand? Your brain and your muscles. It's like a backup battery, helping you fight both mental fog and that age-related muscle loss we call sarcopenia.
So what's the dose? Well, the standard scientifically backed dose is just 5 grams a day. That's it. And look, as long as your kidneys are healthy, it's one of the safest, most studied supplements on the planet. The only real rule is to make sure you drink plenty of water because it helps pull hydration into your cells. So if you see the scale tick up a pound or two at first, don't worry. It's not fat. It's just your muscles getting properly hydrated and ready to work.
Okay, our final upgrade. And this one goes deep. We're talking about the fundamental biochemistry of aging itself. As we get older, our bodies just aren't as efficient at cellular repair. And this is where a simple amino acid called glycine steps in. It turns out our modern diets, where we tend to eat muscle meats instead of the whole animal like our ancestors did, have left most of us with a pretty big gap. We're talking about a 10-gram daily deficit of glycine. And here's the crazy part. That imbalance actually sends biological signals to our body that mimic the aging process. So the goal here is to simply fill that gap.
I mean, glycine is an absolute powerhouse. It's the key raw material your body needs to produce glutathione, which is known as the body's master antioxidant. It's also a primary building block of collagen, which keeps our joints, arteries, and skin healthy. And what's really cool is that it actually has a calming effect on the nervous system, smoothing out the jittery edges from caffeine and helping you achieve this state of calm, focused energy. It even helps you sleep better at night.
And you know, maybe the best part of all, it is so easy to use. Glycine powder is naturally sweet, and it dissolves perfectly in liquid. You can literally just use 3 to 5 grams to replace any sugar you might be putting in your coffee. It's a simple swap that makes a world of difference. Okay, deep breath. I know, that was a ton of information, right? Cacao, cinnamon, lion's mane, creatine, glycine. Adding 5 new things to your morning routine can feel like a lot. So let's break down how to actually do this, how to create a practical, personal plan that works for you. The most important rule here is this: do not add all 5 at once. Please don't do that. The method is simple. Start low and go slow. Take a look at all the benefits we just talked about and choose just one upgrade, the one that lines up with your biggest health goal right now. Start with a small dose, see how you feel for a week or two, and just listen to your body. This is your own personal experiment.
You see, by reimagining your morning coffee, you're not just waking up. You're making this tiny, consistent investment in your future self. You're extending not just your lifespan, but your health span, the quality of those years. So that really just leaves one question for you to answer. Which of these upgrades are you going to start with?